In this sequence, we will meet another kind of mutable data structures, records with mutable fields. Well, let's remind the records. That's a data structure we have seen again in week 2. And records are tuples with distinct named components. As you remember, a typical record type declaration looks like this. We define a type, the type of the record type, and this record type, between curly braces, contains a list of field names with the type of each of the field names. Then the typical record definition is, between curly braces, the list of the field names with the value to which they are initialized. Well, let's see again a simple example of the use of record in a simple program. So let's go back to our two-dimensional points we have seen a few lessons ago. So remember, so we can define the type of a two-dimensional point. Then you can define a particular two-dimensional point, origin, I mean that x equals 0, y equals 0, perfectly sensible. Then you can define function to create a new point at the offset of a given one. For example, here I have offset age is a function that takes a point, a delta on the x-axis, and gives you back another point which is the same as p, but where you have changed the value of the x field by adding this delta x. We can do the same for shifting the point on the vertical line. Okay, but now what is really happening here? If I take the origin and I apply an offset, horizontal offset of 10 from it, then I'm getting a two-dimensional point which is actually shifted on the x-axis by 10 points. But this is actually a new point which has been created starting from the origin. The origin didn't change at all, it's still there. So this with construct is a very powerful abbreviation that allows you to avoid to make a copy of all the fields that stays the same. It allows you to change only the fields you want to change in a record, but doesn't change the original record, just makes a copy. It is interesting to know that we can declare some of the field of a record mutable. Let's see, for example, a definition like this. We have the definition of a record. There are field names with their types, but we can decide to put the mutable keyword in front of the field name for some of the fields, not all or all as we want. The fields which are declared mutable can be modified in place, and again we can use the update operator to do this. And to see this at work, let's try to modify a bit our previous example and let's build movable points. Well, now let's build really movable points, points that can be changed. And to make things interesting, let's add the color also. Okay, so let's add an RGB color, for example, black. And now our movable colored two-dimensional points can be defined by using the keyword mutable we have seen. So we want to have the x field mutable, the y field mutable, but the color, no, it will not change. Okay. Now we can again define a point which is the origin as before, which is a black, by the way. We still have exactly, look at this, this is nice, exactly the same code we had before with the non-mutable, non-modifiable two-dimensional point, because we are already saying change the position in this particular place. So now if I do create a point which is as a given offset of the origin, of course I did not change the origin. Again, it is still a position x equals 0 and y equals 0, but now I'm able to write a move function that takes a point and adds a delta on the x and the y axis. And how does it work? It really updates with this update operator. Now you see the importance of having something which is syntactically clearly an update operation. We are changing the x field and the y field of the point P, which is passed as parameter. Okay, so now we have this move operation. Remember, our original P point is at position 10 and 0, and the color is black. Now if I move the point P of 2 points horizontally and vertically, then this move operation writes on unit type again, so there has been a side effect happening. If I look at P now, it is no longer at position 10, 0, but it is now physically position 12 and 2. I really have changed it. I can keep changing it as much as I want. All changes will be reported in my point P. To sum up, we have seen that it is possible to declare mutables some selected fields of a record type, and the same update operator we have used for arrays can be used to modify in place these mutable fields.